Christmas time is here. All my kids seem to be talking about is gifts and, what gifts they want. And as we go forward in Christmas, we think about what gifts we can give. And today there was a talk at church, and it was really great. And he kind of took an interesting twist on gifts. In 1 Corinthians in chapter 12, it talks about like the different gifts that everybody has, it says, for one is given the spirit or the word of wisdom, to another knowledge, to another faith, and to another the working of miracles, and to another discern. And he was talking about all these gifts. And he goes, what if instead of gifts, it talked about trials? To one is given the trial of mental illness. To one is given the trial of loneliness. To one is given the trial of loss of job, of hunger, of divorce, of death. That there's different trials. And he said, he goes, just like these gifts, we grow from gifts that we receive from God. We grow from trials that we also have in our lives. And he talked about looking at them the same. And I love that. I love whenever I'm in church and someone does a new perspective on things. And I thought about that because he had been through a lot, and he has grown. And I have seen that, especially with my Jake. I was very open about all that Jake went through when he came home for his help of depression. And I realized I didn't necessarily do a follow-up, but Jake is doing great. He is doing so good. We got him on the right medication, and we got him with a great therapist, and he is doing great. Jake loves to work. I don't know if he loves work. He's a hard worker. And I think it's helped. It opened our eyes, the things that he was learning with his therapist, and it helped us to know how best to help him. Because again, all of our children are different. And so when I think about these gifts, Jake's trial, of his depression or his anxiety and his thoughts, that our family grew from that. And our family learned a lot. And had it not been for that trial, what's interesting is that trial happened before the pandemic. I don't know, I know you, but before everything happened, we already had a therapist in place. And so I often think about, had that happened during the pandemic, which I know, had he not come home when he did, he definitely would have, especially during the lockdown. I am so grateful that he did come home when he did. And that we were able to get him the help before then the stress and the anxiety and everything in the pandemic happened. And it opened our eyes as a family because of all the reading and research and everything we did. So then when the pandemic hit, I was hypersensitive to not only Jake, but to all of my children, to me, to everybody, my friends, when they started showing certain signs, because we know that this has really hurt people's mental health. And so as the speaker today with church was talking about how some of us are given gifts, but also some, we also get trials. We get both. And how that trial, the perfect timing of it, helped us so tremendously over these, last months. And how Jake is doing great, how he's back at school, and how he's doing great. Is he 100%? This is something he'll always work with. And I am so, so thankful that we were able to go through this trial because it really has opened my eyes and our family's eyes. And again, like I said, it helped a lot during this trial, or a lot during the pandemic. So if we can look at challenges in our lives or things that happen as to what am I to learn from this? And again, it takes a long time after. I wasn't necessarily there. It started in January, or it started in February, and I wasn't necessarily there till, till months later, like this summer, where I saw and I looked back and I could see the wisdom. And so think about that. Everybody has their trials. Every trial is different, but you can help others. And if you realize that that trials are a teaching opportunity for you to grow closer and rely more on Christ. And I know it is hard when you're in the thick of it, but I promise you that if you try your hardest to look at it from a different perspective, it will help a lot. So, Jakers is doing great. And that was hard. But I'm thankful to be, I wouldn't always say on the other end of it, but kind of in a sense, we know what we're doing now. So thankful for that knowledge. And as we prepare for Christmas and gifts, think about how you can maybe help others. And maybe the trials they're going through, especially this year, and especially at this time of season.